You ever buy a pair of sneakers and maybe you chuck them on a couple times, you wear them around, and after a while you're like, you know what, I'm actually not too sure about this pair of shoes. And maybe you even start regretting that you bought them in the first place. Today I'm gonna share with you guys some of the sneakers that right now I'm really not sure about and I'm kind of regretting, and I'm probably gonna try and get rid of these because honestly, I'm just not wearing them. And man, a lot of these I had high hopes for, but just, you know, after you get them in that rotation, you put them up against some of the sneakers that are your favorites, and you always pick those over the ones that you thought you were gonna love. Well, sometimes it just goes like that. So let's jump straight into today's video and let me give you the first pair that I'm talking about. So the first pair of shoes that we're gonna talk about is actually not this pair of shoes. The pair of shoes that I'm talking about I have already got rid of because honestly I just was not wearing them, and I feel like I'm gonna be wearing these a lot more. And that is the Yeezy 700 in the Sun colorway. Now listen, I don't want you guys to get it twisted. I love the Yeezy 700 Sun colorway. I think it's awesome. But now that this Inflame Amber has come along, and you know, they're kind of close, however this one just seems to be a lot more wearable and you can chuck in with a whole bunch of different outfits. And honestly, I wasn't wearing that Sun colorway all that much. So a friend came along and he wanted them. He offered me a decent price and I thought, you know what, I got this pair of shoes. I'm happy with the Inflame Ambers. I'm really happy with the Inflame Ambers. So I'm gonna just keep this pair and I'm gonna get rid of the Sun 700. So that's the first one, and it's very, very light because it's not a huge regret. It's still got the really unique color blocking that is so special about these colorful 700 V1s, but it just is a tiny bit toned down. Let's put that one to the side and let me tell you about my next one. Now this next one is a straight up regret, no questions asked. I immediately, as soon as I tried them on, knew I regretted that purchase, and it is the Air Max 1 Clot. And look, let's be honest, this one, I had high hopes. Honestly, I had high hopes. It looks super cool. There's a lot of really cool elements that change it up massively from a regular Air Max 1. And I just love the details and the colors on it, but there's just a lot of downsides for me personally to this pair of shoes. For starters, this clear toe box. Listen, I'm all for nice, cool, interesting design elements, but that toe box, it's like one of the worst places to have a completely transparent piece of material. When you can see straight through to your socks, it adds some pros and cons to the sneaker. If you're wearing some nice socks that go with the shoe and the fit all comes together like you see on Instagram, that's one thing. But in reality, when you're putting this into the rotation, it makes it a lot harder to wear. And I found that, and not only that, but also it's a pretty uncomfortable pair of shoes. Like I found personally with this raw edge, my ankle was rubbing on this, and it's definitely not that soft. That this one is definitely a regret. That yeah, we're just gonna put that one over here and jump into the next one. Now this next one we're talking about, I got rid of pretty quickly, and it is the Yeezy 380 in the Azure colorway. Now listen, I know that the 380s get a lot of hate for the different colorways, the kind of less popular colorways, and I understand that they are quite different. They are pretty crazy. Some of the combinations are just not as traditional as you would think, and I think that's cool. You know, I'm all down for a crazy colorway of a pair of sneakers. So this Azure colorway, when I went to go and buy it, I was pretty much certain this was going straight into the rotation. I loved the way that that brown mixed with that super vibrant blue, and I was like, this is going to slap. However, putting it on and trying it out and just walking around and putting on with different outfits, essentially, at the end of the day, I chose, you know what, I've got some really cool colorways of the 380s. But that colorway is just one that I was like, you know what, I gotta get rid of this. I'm not gonna wear it, and I really just don't have space because these boxes are piling up. I love the colorway, but just on me and with the different outfits, I just wasn't feeling it, so I had to get rid of it. Now next up is another pair of Yeezys, and this is one that I didn't really hesitate when I decided to get rid of it, because I have a colorway that pretty much looks identical, and that is the Yeezy 700 V3 in the clay brown colorway. Now listen, I loved the Alva colorway, the stealthy black, just the general dark colorway on the V3 model. I think looks pretty damn insane. Honestly, I think it's pretty cool that that sneaker sneaker exists because the Alva colorway is a lot more expensive than the clay brown. However, for someone who already has the Alvas, I don't believe that the clay brown is different enough to warrant you keeping that pair of shoes. I wore them and I was like, look, this is a dope colorway, but I'm wearing my Alvas and they look super similar, so I got rid of that one and I still got my Alvas. When I'm making these decisions to keep a colorway of a pair of shoes and maybe get rid of another colorway, sometimes I don't always make the right decision. So this next pair of shoes is going to be a little bit of a maybe regret about getting rid of them, but let me just explain. So this is the UNC Dunk Low, awesome colorway. I think it looks super dope, a banger for the summertime. But you know what colorway of the Dunk Low I got rid of for this pair of shoes? It was the Pandas. Yes, that is right. I had the Pandas and I was like, you know what? I'm getting this UNC colorway. I'm probably not gonna wear those Pandas. I just need 1 or 2 solid colorways of the Dunk Low and I'm good. So I'm gonna swap those Pandas for this UNC colorway. And now I'm kind of regretting that. Every time I put these on, I'm having these flashbacks of how clean those Pandas were when you put them on, how wearable, just how simple and nice that colorway was. Now look, I don't think it necessarily takes anything away from this pair of shoes because honestly, I'm happy with this one. I'm definitely not gonna lose that much sleep over it. I'm pretty happy with this decision. However, if I could do it all over again, I probably wouldn't make the same decision and I'd be keeping those Pandas. So yeah, kind of like an opposite of what we're talking about, being happy to get rid of pairs of shoes, but I'm kind of regretting getting rid of them in a sense, but I thought I'd add that to the list. Now, this next one, the Yeezy Slide in the Inflame Orange colorway. Now look, again, it's one of those situations where I love this colorway. I think it looks dope, but when you're someone like me, now I'm a slide wearer, which means I'll be wearing my slides all the time, as much as I can, out to the shops, out doing errands, pretty much any situation where I don't need a pair of shoes, I'll be wearing a pair of slides. So what that means is when you have a much more wearable pair of slides and then you compare it to this very vibrant orange one, but when you're trying to pair it with a whole bunch of different outfits, you realize one of these kind of tanned or earth toned colorways just kind of fits a lot easier and it's just something you can slip on. You don't really have to think about. It's gonna go with pretty much any of your outfits. So yeah, I'm feeling like these are gonna go, these are gonna stay. Next up, we got a pair of Air Forces, and this one I got rid of relatively recently, and it's just something that I literally never wore. I had a lot of plans to wear it and I think it looked dope on foot, but at the end of the day, it just never hit my feet and I was like, let me just go ahead and get rid of this pair of shoes. And it is the Air Force One in the skeleton orange colorway. So literally, I've wanted to have a skeleton Air Force One for a while. I loved the white and the black colorway. So when this orange one came about, I was like, you know what? I'm happy to settle with this colorway. And that plan went down the hill pretty quickly because when it was actually sat here in my collection, I was like, when the hell am I gonna wear these? I just found them to be like too heavy on the Halloween vibes. I literally felt like I'm dressing up for Halloween every time I chucked them on. Like they glow in the dark, and of course they have the skeleton foot, and of course they are bright orange. Maybe this Halloween, if they release a nice, cool, clean colorway that I think can go kind of year round, I'm definitely gonna be down for that. Right, this next pair of shoes, I haven't 100% made my mind up about whether I'm gonna get rid of them or whether I'm gonna keep them and keep putting miles on them, but let me just explain. It is the Yeezy 350 in the Mono Mist colorway. I've had this for a while now. Obviously I had an early pair and I've just been wearing it. However, it seems like every time I go to put this pair of shoes on, I look over at some of my other 350s and I'm just like, I'm just gonna go with the other ones, and this one just kind of is left in the dust. Now, it's not that I don't like the colorway, it's not like I necessarily don't like the materials, but there's just something about it that when you put it up against those knit, you know, those regular knit 350s like the Zions I personally have, they get a lot of wear. But I mean, you name any iconic 350, the Zebras, all of these other ones that I've got, and they just always get chosen before these ones. So honestly, I haven't 100% made my mind up. I might try and keep these, wear them through the summer, see how they rock, but they haven't wowed me as of right now. So I'll keep you up to date on that. And of course, if we do another installment of of my regrets in terms of sneaker buys, then yeah, I'll update you on the sneakers that I've kept or maybe just got rid of. But yeah, that is pretty much it for today's video, guys. I just thought it'd be a fun idea. I'm sure you guys can relate to this. Do you have any sneaker regrets? Let me know down in the comment section. What is that pair of shoes that you have, and every time you look at them you just think about like, damn, I really shouldn't have got this pair of shoes? Let me know down in the comment section. But that pretty much wraps it up for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for coming through, hanging out, liking, commenting, and of course subscribing. I'll catch you guys in the next one, but until then,